It's my great pleasure to be able to facilitate a question and answer period right now. And I'm sure there is much to discuss about this fascinating and wonderful film. So I would love to welcome back to the stage the director of 93 Queen, Paula Eizelt. And do you want to welcome someone else to the stage?
Yeah, so I didn't mention this before, but we have a very special guest, Judge Ruchie Freier.
Welcome, and thank you both for the film. It's fascinating and powerful, and I wanted to get started with a question around the relationship between the two of you in terms of director and subject. I mean, this documentary has really, I feel like, unprecedented access to a community that's quite tight-knit and private, and it's done in such a beautiful way. And I'm wondering if you could speak to the trust that it took between the two of you and how that extended into the community.
Yeah, I'll start of how I heard of you, Ruchie. So I was just, it must have been 6 years ago already, maybe 6.5, perusing a Yiddish website, and I came across a photo of Ruchie, and she was in a lab coat, and underneath was a caption that a group of Hasidic women were starting this all-female ambulance corps because the existing corps does not allow women. And I'm Orthodox, so I grew up with Hatzalah, this corps, and it never occurred to me that they didn't have women. And when I realized that, like, how could I have never seen that? That was like my first lightning bolt. And then that there are women who are actually not going to take no for an answer and do something about it. I just thought I had to meet this woman. So I went to your house, and that started a conversation that took months and months until we agreed.
Yeah, I remember that day. And it was during the time where we didn't even know if Ezras Nashim was going to get off the ground.
Right.
And then comes this young, pretty woman telling me that she's a filmmaker and that she wants to film it. I said, film what? I thought it was like a pie in the sky.
Right.
But I'll tell you the magic words that she said. She said to me, Ruchie, there's so little truth about the Hasidic community out there in the media, especially about the women. If you let me do this, we'll be able to do what is called a Kiddush Hashem in Hebrew, which means you will sanctify God's name by showing the world who Hasidic women really are. And that was what really sold me. And she was so sincere, so genuine. I believed her. And I trusted her. And that's something that's very challenging for someone who's an outsider to earn in the Hasidic community. And we did everything. We went to her rabbi, we went to my rabbi, we got their blessings, we got their endorsement. And my goal really is to all you sitting here and everybody else who's going to see this film is to really understand that the Hasidic community is a beautiful, warm community. The outsiders don't really know us, and they tend to stereotype. Mm-hmm. And I want to break that stereotype. I wanted you all to really see the truth. Now, when I agreed to do this, I didn't know what the film was going to be about, right? We didn't know what this is a documentary. As things unfolded, a lot of pain was being shared, but a lot of joy as well. So sitting here tonight, all I can say is that you did an amazing job. Thank you all for your support, and I hope this gives you all a glimpse into my world.
Great, thank you. Thank you for those answers. I'm going to come out to the house and see if there are some questions, if anyone has any questions kicking around in the house. In the middle here, yes?
To what extent are you accepted today by Hatzalah?
To what extent are you accepted today by Hatzalah?
To what extent are we accepted?
Or what's how do they treat you?
I think they acknowledge the fact that we exist. Mm-hmm. We haven't tried to push them to accept us. I never went down that road. When the initial answer was no, we accepted no as the answer out of respect. And today we still have an issue with the funding that's out there. Mm-hmm. We're still blocked from that.
Okay.
So there's nothing that's out in the open, but I don't know really what goes on behind why we're not getting the support yet. We still need to get our own ambulance. So we've made so much progress. There's so much that we've done that I like to always look at what we've done and not at what we still have to do.
Right.
But that, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. Great. Thank you.
What impact has it had on their lives? What kind of ripple effect have you noticed over the years?
So for the women who've participated as EMTs, what effect has it had on their lives?
I think a very positive one. We've learned how to save lives. We've learned that we can do it. It is possible. Sometimes it's frustrating because we want to do so much more and we just can't because it's a slow process and there's still so many challenges. But I always say, ladies, look what we've done.
And
Great.
just from my perspective, because I was, looking at everyone for 5 years as they were doing this, I just saw such tremendous growth and confidence among the women, and the more they did, the more they were willing to take on. So that was beautiful to watch. And then there's you, your trajectory. I met you, and you were just starting Ezras Nashim. I didn't even know you wanted to be judge. And from that, look where you are.
That was God's plan. But I think that even the men in the community have really had a very positive feeling to all of what we've done. While we do have our opposition, but I think the average man is very happy. Like when I do respond to a call, I think the husband is thanking me more than the woman. The husband is so grateful and so thankful. There are a lot of men that are supporting our organization. They really are. They may not be always so public about it, but they let me know. Keep on going. Mrs. Freier, keep on going.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. Thank you for that question. We have one.
After sharing your story, how can people support you to help you and your organization get that ambulance?
So how can people support you and your organization to get that ambulance and even more?
So there's a website, their website, ezrasnashim.org.
It's
And
actually www.ezras, E-Z-R-A-S, with a hyphen, then Nashim, Nashim.org.
And we will post it on 93 Queen Facebook page. So everyone just follow us on Facebook and we'll get you that information.
Has there been interest in opening other chapters around New York or in other cities?
Yes.
Yeah, has there been interest in opening
You know,
other chapters?
When I first started, my dream was all over. Every place, let's start a chapter. And then my administrative assistant, Perry, is great. She says, Ruchie, calm down. Let's get Borough Park up and running. Let's get it to the level where you have your ambulance and then spread out. And she was right, because if I was going to get sidetracked with recruiting, I wasn't going to be able to take it up there. But now that I've at the level where we are applying, our application is pending, I am ready to listen. And I have interns working for me this summer who want to just work on expanding Ezras. If anybody really wants to know how it was possible for me to endure all of the challenges, it's my incredible mother, who's always been by my side. She always taught us, girls, you can do anything you want to do in life. She just had 3 conditions. So long as it isn't illegal, immoral, or against the Torah, you can succeed. And my fabulous sister, Javi, who always calls herself just an ordinary person, is really extraordinary. She has helped me through this whole process, encouraged me to do the documentary, held my hand from the beginning until the finish line. She's extremely talented and extraordinarily helpful, and I love her. Thank you, Javi.
Great, thank you both for being here. I see.
Conversation from the rabbis. What do you do about specific rabbinic law that you need to follow, like Hatzalah follows? They have
Great question.
Yeah, question around
Yes,
rabbinical
Yes,
law.
he said, since we didn't get official rabbinical endorsements, how do we follow the law? So if you understood what the documentary was saying, we didn't get a public endorsement. But in terms of endorsements that were face-to-face, my husband has been indefatigable. He's gone to rabbis, Torah leaders in the land of Israel, here in America. We have a list of endorsements, but they're all on paper. In terms of following Jewish law, very, very important question. We do have rabbis that we work with on a day-to-day basis. Every question of Jewish law is discussed thoroughly all the time. We leave no stone unturned. Thank you for asking that question. But we have many rabbis who have endorsed us, who continue to endorse us, but because of the political climate, we don't publicize it.
Question, yes.
Is there a time that you think you might allow single ENTs?
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's so important.
Yes.
That policy changed a long time ago.
The single EMTs, yeah, great.
You know, that what happened was, as we explained in the documentary, we were so concerned about not going against community standard. But as we were training more women, and we realized, truthfully, these are women who are helping women. And it really didn't make a difference if you were married or not married. And once we saw how capable these single girls were, there was one girl in particular who was in the film, who when we told her that she could only dispatch, said, okay, she became an EMT and was only dispatching. I said, she's so talented, she's so creative, let me just discuss this with the rabbis again. And said, sure. And the doors opened up.
That's great.
That's it.
That's great to hear.
And that's really, how change from within works.
There are many people who have left the Hasidic community, and sometimes they have an axe to grind, and they'll say things about us, and sometimes they'll try to force change from the outside. And I would tell them, you can't leave and expect to make change. Change will come from the ones who stay, the ones who really care about making change without leaving. It was the same thing when I ran for judge. I was determined that I was not going to compromise any of our standards, but I wanted to fulfill that dream. And that's why law school took me so many years, and college took me so many years, because I was going to bake challah and cook dinner every night and have those babies,
Right.
And I love being a woman. I didn't want to give any of that up. And when it came to Ezras Nashim, I said, I'm not going to splinter this community. I'm not going to make a fight. We're going to do it our own way. It took a lot of work, and there's still so many challenges. There really is. And even doing this documentary was so controversial. But I felt that the benefit outweighed the risk.
Right.
Hours a night do you sleep?
How many hours a night do you sleep?
I'm still not sure she's human. I don't know.
But when Shabbos comes, I recharge my batteries. I kind of sleep from hours on end on the Sabbath. And that's how I manage.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, right here.
I have a question for Ruchie and a question for Paula. Ruchie, who are your role models?
Huh?
Who are-
And for Paula, I like the film really had stories and character, really made the film a strong film. As a filmmaker, to what extent did your creative input shape the storytelling, and to what extent did you allow the story to just tell itself?
Great. So, question for Ruchie, who are your role models?
So for a long time, I struggled trying to find a role model. And people would tell me, Ruchie, especially a Hasidic woman, you have to be modest, and you're getting involved in community activism is really something that's modest and is something that's appropriate for you as a Hasidic woman. And one summer I was traveling with my husband to California, and we spent Shabbos at a very nice family in Los Angeles. And I noticed a book on their bookshelf about the woman called Sarah Shanira. She was the founder of the Beis Yaakov movement, which is the movement of Jewish girls going to school, which started in the early 20th century. She was a seamstress in Krakow, Poland. She started the school, and I was a student of her students. And when I read that book, I found out that there was a lot of controversy and opposition when she started. I didn't learn that in school. Maybe I was absent that day, but I didn't learn that in school. And then I read one of the incredible lessons that she taught her students. And she said to her students back then, she was a true pioneer. She said, Jewish daughter has to always wear a dress with 2 pockets. And in one pocket you carry the verse in Psalms, and I'll say it in Hebrew and I'll translate. Kol kvuda bas melech pnima. Your modesty is your badge of pride. Keep it in your heart with your head up high, because it identifies you as a Jewish daughter. But in your other pocket, you carry another verse from Psalms. Eis la'asos laHashem, heferu torasecha. There comes a time when you have to stand up because people have trampled Torah values. And girls, she said, you will be leaders, you will take a stand, and people will follow you. And what she did back then was unheard of. She took young single girls, trained them as teachers, and sent them in faraway shtetls in Poland to start schools there. And she's my role model. If she saw that something had to be done, even though there was opposition, she was a leader, and she trained her students be leaders, but never forget who you are.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you. And then Paula, the question was around, how much did you let, how much did you come in with creative ideas and shape the story, and how much did you let the story unfold?
Well, I filmed for, production was over 4 years. So if you film for that long, life happens, and the story really unfolded just as you see it. So it's, primarily a verite film. I was there, there were about 2 years where I was really there all the time, to the point where they wanted to arrest me.
I would get a phone call, Ruchie, I need to come, I just need a half hour. No problem. Maybe 4.5 hours?
Something was always happening. So, but I will say, after 4 years of shooting, there were over 200 hours of footage. So the edit process for this film took a long, long time, just to prune all that down. But in terms of the story structure, this is really basically exactly how it happened.
By the way, if anybody has any questions, my personal email address is judgefreier@gmail.com. If you could spell judge and you could spell Freier, then you got it.
It really is her email address.
And I encourage people, because I when I was in law school, and I always encouraged people to ask questions, because if you don't ask questions and get the right answers, you will make assumptions, and most of the time they will be wrong. So I'm here to clarify all of that, and I want to just really thank you all for coming here, watching the film, showing your support. It's an incredible validation for me. I'm going to go back home and tell all of our members that yes, we accomplished what we set ourselves out to do. It means so much for us to see you here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that.